Alright, YouTube, what's going on today? It's end of January here. We're just getting past that Canadian cold front, that Arctic blast, and a little warmer here, but we're going to be going on a long road trip, and I will track my efficiency so we can all overcome range anxiety together. You can see the unit has been plugged in. The precondition has finished. It is still pulling electricity as it is running, primarily for the heat and heating the battery. So I am traveling from southern New Hampshire all the way to Philadelphia. It's approximately 340 miles. So if we were doing this in an ICE vehicle, not assuming any stopping for gas, but even if you added 20 minutes there, it's giving us a 6-hour drive, or 6.5 if you consider stopping for gas and such. But because this is going to be outside of our range, and right now I am at 100%, with an guessometer reading of 242 miles, and as I put in my destination into the actual Ford navigation system, we're going to take a look and see how this will change based on its intelligent range estimator that came in one of the earlier updates. Okay, you'll see that it's estimating 7 hours and 13 minutes with one charge along the way, which is great in my opinion. I'm probably going to stop anyhow to use a restroom, grab some lunch along the way, so going to need this stop anyhow. Based on the details here, it's suggesting that I stop at one of these service centers that's right off the highway. This would be really the ideal solution for where charger locations should be, right off the highway, no navigating to a random Walmart parking lot. This would really be the ideal solution. But if I remember correctly, I think this one charges pretty slow. I want to get one that's like either a 150 or a 350. The max on this is technically 150, but when the battery is preconditioned and such, it will pull about 165 kilowatts. So I'd much rather try to get one that's going to be able to pump out as much electricity as possible. It's suggesting that we'll get there with 21%. So if there's an opportunity to push that battery a little bit lower, get down closer to New York here, and not charge until we get there, that's going to be the approach I take. But I'll keep you guys updated. And then as far as keeping track of information, we will go in to our trip 1. This will be the trip today, and trip 2 will be the total round trip that I do for the next couple days. So you can see that this is reset, this has been reset, and this trip will just be from now until the next time I turn the car off. Alright, and one additional thing is on my other phone, car scanner app, and you can see here that we are showing 100% state of charge, where the actual state of charge is 96%, so that includes the buffer. This car has a 91 kilowatt usable battery. You can see that we're getting 86% or 86.5 kilowatts of available energy. The high voltage battery is 17 months old or 18 months old in this car, and the state of health is still showing at 98. I don't road trip often, and I don't fast charge often, so that should be pretty good. And now we're off. So as I was starting to navigate, I did get a pop-up on the screen that says range has been recalculated based on destination. So that 242 that it was originally showing had dropped down to like 231 or something. Just starting to drive, make my way to the highway, so all of this is just highly efficient. boring driving. I did change my charger location to be a bit further away, rather than that one in the service plaza that I'm a little concerned about its speed output. I've changed to the one a little bit further away, so that other one was like 184 or whatever that number was, and so I'm pushing it about an extra 10 miles, which only brings me down about another 5%, which is perfectly fine. Be there for a good while. I mean, that's 3.5 hours of driving. I'm going to want to get up and walk around. So anyone who thinks you can't really go anywhere in an EV, how often do you want to drive more than 3 hours anyhow? But let's see what we get for efficiency. Let's see if we can actually make that. It's going to be a lot of highway driving along the way. I've got the heat at like 69 giggity. We'll see if we keep it at that. I generally run hot, so I like my temperature on the lower side. But we'll see how it goes. All right, so we're at 70%. So we've got our first third of the battery used up here. Checking the app, you can see we got about 57 kilowatt hours of battery. Here comes a Rivian on that side. Looking at what we've been doing for efficiency, again, going with the flow of traffic, not trying to hypermile, not doing this specifically for efficiency, but more to show what to expect when driving like a normal human being. We've been going for an hour and 15 minutes, 75 miles so far. Again, we've used 30% of the battery. We're averaging 2.6 miles per kilowatt. Well, looks like I need service. I'll get that when I stop. So again, we're doing all right. Speed's the issue because we're on the highway the whole time. If I was going a little slower or whatnot, you could potentially see that up at like 2.7, 2.8 maybe, but I'm not going to drive slow just to get good efficiency. So that's where we're at. I'll continue to check in. Alright, I'm going to take my first break. I need to use the restroom and grab a quick bite to eat. You can see where we're at. The efficiency's gone now, but it was still 2.6. Then I'm going to get going again. So just driving along. About a 3.0 average since we left that rest stop. Strangely, it's telling me to enter a carpool lane. I don't know. It's just me in the car. It's not heavy traffic either. I don't know why the map would default to that. Comment below if you have any suggestions on how to turn that off. I dicked around in the settings and wasn't able to figure it out. Alright, we're down to 38%. About 87 miles of projected range. We've been going now for almost 2.5 hours. We're 150 miles since we left that rest stop. The efficiency's been slightly higher. We've gone about 72 miles since we left there. So we're moving along, trucking along pretty well. Blue's Clues has been working really well. I've been hands-free for as much as I could, or as much as it allows. I'm still on Blue Cruise 1.0, waiting for the 1. It was supposed to be 1.2, then 1.3, maybe it's going to be 1.4, I don't know. Just waiting on that update. It's supposed to be coming soon. That'll include like the lane changes and the ability to recenter yourself in the lane. You still get a little bit of ping-ponging, in the lane with Blue Cruise as it is, but overall it works really well. It works as you would kind of want it to work on a road trip like this. Again, started in New Hampshire. I'm going to end in Philadelphia. We've already made it all the way through Massachusetts. We're into Connecticut, starting to encroach on New York, but coming through and coming up on that charging station in about 45 minutes to an hour. A lot of road work happening here. Hopefully we don't get that on this side. It's going to suck on the ride back. Note to self, avoid this area. But you can see we're moving along. Still on our way to that same Electrify America station. We've been getting slightly higher efficiency than what was previously expected. So this station was originally showing that we would arrive with 13%. Based on its current estimate, we're going to arrive with about 15%. We'll see what we get when we actually get there. Alright, got our first battery warning. Driving range low. Reduce your climate usage. That is set to kick on when you get under 50 miles, I guess. I thought I had it set to 20%. But I'm at 21%. But we only have 17 more miles to go until we get to the first charging station. Been going now for 3 hours, 185 miles, with an efficiency of 2.7. You can see this stuff isn't going so well because it's all highway, so you wouldn't expect these to be of great high values. But I would say overall for 40-degree weather, it was about 36 when I left. As I've driven south, the weather's gotten slightly warmer. There was a little bit of snow in the air, a little bit of rain for a while, but overall temperature-wise, not too bad. So just temperature on the battery, you can see the lowest reading is 54.5 degrees Fahrenheit, and the highest reading on the sensors is 66.2. The coolant is about 68 degrees. At this point, since it knows that we're going to a charging location, it should be doing whatever preconditioning it needs to on the battery to ensure that we're at a temperature where it could accept the highest amount of electricity. So that'll be good to see what we get when we get there. Again, the car is only 50% of the equation, so we'll see what the station is also doing. As of right now, it's showing that this should be able to accept at least 111 kilowatt hours or kilowatts as the charge limit. So we'll see if that actually correlates to what we get out of the machine. Alright, so we're about 5 miles from the station. At about 10 miles from the station, charging station, I noticed some of the temperatures on here started to go up. So the lowest temperature sensor is at 61 degrees. The highest is at 73.
In 3/4 of a mile, take exit 34 on the right.
You can see that the coolant temperature has also gone up, as well as the charge limit has been steadily increasing. So that is indicative of the preconditioning taking place. I wish there was some kind of indication on the screen. I know the Hyundais have like the little heating coil in their battery icon. It lights up red when it's warming the battery. I think that would be good information for people to see. But when you're looking
Take
at
exit 34
the
on
actual
the right
app
to Connecticut
or
104 South.
looking into the OBD data, which, you know, not all of us are dorks and have this information, you can actually see what's happening. Alright, so this thing like navigated me to the completely wrong location. I ended up paying a couple bucks to get into a parking garage and then come out of the parking garage. Now I'm trying again, see if I can find this. But the other weird thing is,
500 feet, turn left on Bedford Street.
Once I came out of the parking garage, it was almost as if it assumed I was charging and started navigating me to Philadelphia, not suggesting another charge, which I only have 12%. I'm not making it all the way to Philadelphia, so really weird situation there with the Ford navigation. We'll see if we can't get into this charging spot based on plug share. It says use the 6th Street, so we'll go here and in here. We're gonna see if we can't figure this out. Alright, I think, thank God for plug share having better information. I was able to navigate here myself. So as I'm entering the parking garage, I don't know if you can see it through that scaffolding. There's the green EA stations back there. Now we just got to figure out how to get back there. That is the one thing with driving an EV that isn't a Tesla. You got to deal with some weird charging locations and sometimes not the most reliable charging setups. Got to the charger. They're all pretty much taken. A couple of them are broken. Like that one over there. This one, plug-in share seems to have connected. Initializing. Taking too long. $0.64. Okay, the max on here is telling me that we should be able to go to 128. I'm currently going at 133, 132. It is currently, what time is it? It's currently 3 p.m. It's saying that we should get to 80% by 3:39, which is a little over a half hour from now. So that's not too bad. We're going to take it all the way up there. Hopefully this holds at this speed. Alright, been on here for 14 minutes. We're still at 100 kilowatts. Just went up to 99. We're at 41%. Not too bad. I do wish this was a little bit higher. It's currently showing no charge. This is a overpriced EA station. 64 cents per kilowatt. That's crazy, but we'll see. Maybe this session will be free. We'll see. It's crazy. Look at all these mini superchargers that are here for Tesla. There was one car here before, but these are currently all unoccupied. One thing that you can guarantee that unlike the EA stations, I'm sure all of these would work, and it's just a much cleaner install than what's going on over here with the musical chairs or cars and broken stations that are over there. I'm pretty happy I was able to pull up and find a working station. I wish it was the 350. Maybe I would have got a little bit more speed at the beginning instead of the 120 that I got, but I'll take it. It's fine. The station itself, while we're at 50%, it's looking like it's still saying 90 kilowatts. Just went down to 89. We're at 51%. You could see here that even though the station is showing 88, 89 on the output, which kind of sucks because we're only at 51%. It should still be higher than that. I get it. It's not the best charging curve, and EA is not the greatest. I gotta get over that. So it's showing 85 on the display there, so it's delivering 85, and then with the losses, it looks like 82 is coming into the battery. So still cooking here, still moving. This guy in the Mercedes, I'm sure he's an Uber driver. He's charging up to 100%. I don't know why anyone would charge up to 100%. A Chevy Bolt just pulled in. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stations here. And at least 2 of them are fully broken or fully unavailable. The one that I'm at, only one of the 2 guns was showing as available. Luckily it worked, so I'm happy about that. I would like to maybe get on a faster one, possibly maybe with this BMW getting ready to leave. We might be splitting power, so that might be limiting me a little bit, but I doubt it. But we'll see. Been here for 21 minutes. Alright, it's about 3:48. Got to walk around, stretch my legs. So, see what we're at. We should be over 80 at this point. Alright, 85%. We're on 39 kilowatt. So, no need to stay on here any longer. Alright, I got to walking around. Came back to the car at about when it said it would get to 80%. It had gotten there a little bit sooner than it projected, so that's good. It was 3:49 about when I got there. Got to 85% like I showed. Should be more than enough range. The Ford map had suggested I go to 74 or 76% in order to reach my destination, so this should be more than enough to get there. So I've switched over to Google Maps. I'm gonna use that for probably the remainder of this ride. So as we're going here, I'll give the updates on the efficiencies and such. One point, just for those who are considering getting a Mach-E or any other EV, public charging generally is for these type of road trips, not things that you use often, right? You don't think of them as gas stations. I've said this before if you've seen any of my other videos, but that was 45 minutes and $44 to charge. So that's more time and more money than gas would be on a typical drive like this. But again, you do it every once in a while. So yeah, it's more time consuming, more expensive, but in total you spend more time at a gas pump than you would at an Electrify America station. You go to the gas pump 10 minutes a week, or maybe even multiple times a week, whereas basically I come out of my house every day with a full battery because I plug in at home. And that's really the way that people need to look at how to operate an EV. So don't switch out your gas car for an EV, thinking that it's an equal trade-off. There are the negatives if you don't have home charging. So just keep that in mind. So just to give an update on where we're at about 211 miles total, 4 hours of car on time, most of that driving. We're averaging 2.6 miles per kilowatt. So if you're interested in an EV, your miles per kilowatt is essentially your new mile per gallon, if you would. And in a Tesla, they display it slightly different. It's watt hour per mile. So it's essentially the inverse of this. So if this were a Tesla, that would read about 385 watt hour per mile. But most other EVs in the market use this mile per kilowatt hour as its efficiency number. So we're at 211 miles. One of the negatives is, as you kind of saw with that charging location, it was hiding in a Stop and Shop garage on the lower level. No signs telling you where it was. The Ford navigation took me to the wrong location at first. I think it took me to the other side of that parking garage that was more for office buildings or something. So that was a little bit of an inconvenience. So really had to pay about a 10 to 20 mile, let's call it 15 mile penalty for getting off the main route here and navigating to that random Stop and Shop through a little bit of a busier town. So you know that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Decent charging speeds. I was happy the station worked. It worked as soon as I clicked it in. I'll take that as a win. And now we're just gonna make our way the rest of the way. We've got approximately 3 hours of driving ahead of us. 2 hours and 47 minutes. 130 miles. So at no point am I concerned about range. At this point, more than enough battery to get there. So we'll take it all the way. When I get to the hotel, I believe there's a Tesla charging station, destination charger there. I do have an adapter. If that is available, I'll connect it and see how that works. If it works well, I'll leave a link in the description for it. Alright, I've finally arrived. You can see it was 6 hours and 45 minutes of driving time. That's about what Google estimated without the stops. So add the 45 minutes that I charged. We're right in that window that we expected. We got a 2.7 mile per kilowatt. The hotel does have charging. But let me show you what this ass clown is doing. Plug-in hybrid, not even plugged in, blocking the spot. There is a spot on that side, I think, I could potentially use. There's a Tesla stand there, and it does reach my car, so maybe I'll give my adapter a try. I just picked this adapter up off Amazon. It was a pretty good price. Review seemed good, so we'll see how it works. So you get your Tesla female side, you plug the adapter in there, and you can see that goes to the J1772 that's on my car. It does have itself a little lock on the underneath to lock it in place, so you can't just pull it out unless you know that lock is there. Plug it in, see how it goes. I heard it connect. Going around and around, and it's starting. Perfect. So it's 7 o'clock at night, and it is saying that the car will reach 100% by 3 in the morning, which is normal for being on a level 2 charger. Let's see what we're getting for speed. So not too bad. Getting a full 7.7 kilowatts coming into the battery. Perfect. This is great. One thing you wouldn't get with driving a gas car is you'll never pull up to a hotel and them have a free gas station. So there are some advantages. Alright, so I think I'm just about to head home. You can see since I've arrived, I've put a little bit more miles on. I'm at 2.7 miles per kilowatt hour, Was able to get the free charging at the hotel again. I had a range estimate of 278, and then once I put in the navigation, it came up with that message that I can never catch on camera, saying range was adjusted based on route. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to dive into this one. We'll look at what the details of this trip are. Still, one charger wants me to sit there for an hour and 5 minutes. We'll see how that goes. Um, Estimating that we would arrive at the charger with 15%, but you can see what a mess that is. It's a Nissan dealer, which means it's probably a charge point, 100 kilowatt at best. We're going to want to not do that. I'm going to select this charger. It's saying it's out of range, so we'll see what happens.
At the end of the street, turn left, then take the second left.
So it is close, so the charging location is 230 miles from my current location with an estimated range of 255. So we're going to have to see on this trip details. Estimated will arrive with 9%. Let's see how this goes. So I just passed 100 miles. Been going for an hour and 43 minutes here. Just finally hitting my first bit of traffic going through New York. You can see my efficiency has been really well for this highway driving. Been going 60, 70, up to 80 through parts. Going till I get to that charging station. I did look on the app called PlugShare, and the charger that I have planned right now, it has some recent reviews saying that multiple stations are broken. So I may change where I'm going, but as far as it is now, this efficiency is pretty good. The warmer temperatures helping. I don't have my HVAC up as high, but just trucking along here. Most of the Connecticut rest stops along Route 15 seem to have these charging stations on them. I figured maybe we'll give it a try, see where we're at. If we can hit it here, then we don't have to navigate to that Walmart. It was originally saying I needed to add about 52% in order to reach my home destination. Let's see what this thing does for speed and charging. I pulled up the app. Excuse me. It looks like I should be able to get 122 kilowatts of juice in at a flow rate of that. Let's see what this thing can actually do. Well, the first challenge is that cord is short as all hell. So we're going to have to get as close as we can without hitting. 35 cents a kilowatt. That's pretty good, even though there's a $20 minimum authorization. Still not bad. It was 64 cents at the EA station. Alright, it's making a lot of noise, which means it's probably starting up. Let's see what it does. It's showing here that I'm starting to charge. I just got a charger fault. Let's see what happens. Said payment authorized. It's making a lot of noise. It's initiating. This is saying fast charging. All right, there it goes. It just started. Right now we're at 43 kilowatt, 52, 75, 81, 90, 101, 120. Awesome. 127, 128. That's awesome. I don't know who operates these chargers, but they're perfectly located. They're in a rest stop where you would expect to fuel up a car. So perfect. I don't need to navigate off my route. I can charge this for as long as I was expected to charge at that other station that is listed to be having issues. It is interesting. I don't know if you can see. 125. When this thing is saying 123 would be the max. But we're actually getting in 111 after the losses. So we're at 56%. We have only been here for 10 minutes. I would say that that's a pretty good increase from 38 to 56% in 38 to 56% in 10 minutes. I would say that that's pretty good. Based on the route, I've got about 181 miles till home. So we'll take this up all the way until at least when I've got that as an estimated range. Maybe we'll take this up for, I don't know, maybe we'll call it 75% or something, and just go from there. This is much better than dealing with an EA station. The pre-authorization of $20 was charged to my account for the session that failed, but a refund was automatically issued by Apple Green. That's who runs these stations. And now we're just charging away here. There was another $20 authorization. We'll see at the end how it adjusts based on the total cost. Right now we're at $6.75. Ran inside, got a couple drinks, some peanuts. I'm at 75%. That should be more than enough to get us home. We're currently at 74 kilowatts, $12.35. 22 minutes. Not too bad. What's interesting is if I reactivate the Ford navigation, even though I believe we have enough to get home, it's still adding a charger for 10 minutes. And it's a Holiday Inn in Sturbridge. That's in Massachusetts. You can see it here. But saying that we wouldn't have enough to make it all the way home, even though the circle of range estimating is out here. So that's a little surprising that it would still add a charger. I'm going to go ahead and ignore this. I'll use Google as my navigator for the rest of the way. And I'm still plugged in, but we're going to be getting going here in a minute. So it's been about an hour and 25 minutes since we left that charging station, and I've gone 96 miles. But in that time, I've gone through all of the energy that I purchased during that visit to the charging station. So I just crossed over to 37% with an estimated range of 85. And that 85 mile range is based on the fact that this portion of the travel has been much less efficient. If you look at what the majority of this trip has been since I left the Philly area, I forgot to reset trip 1, so there's probably about 50 miles missing from this calculation, but I was averaging close to 3 miles per kilowatt, and since leaving that charging station I'm at 2.5, 2.6 now. That may get up to 2.7 if we get some downhill, but with that 84 mile estimated range, you can see that I've got 82 miles till home. So with 82 miles of actual driving, and 84 of estimated. Plus I need to jump off the highway and drop off something at a friend's house real quick. It's going to be cutting it close. I'm thinking I'm going to stop and charge for maybe 5 minutes. Alright, 2 hours.
Turn right, then take the first right.
And we're at 47 miles of estimated range. I'm driving through a bus
Turn
route.
right,
Oops.
then take the first right.
I'm going to stop here, get a charge, use the restroom,
Turn
stretch
right,
my
then
legs.
arrive at Electrify America.
It's unfortunate that I needed to stop one more time, but
Arriving at
take
Electrify
it.
America.
Actually, this is very much a typical EA experience. All the chargers are broken. This Polestar that's plugged in has been sitting there idle for over an hour. 64 minutes of idle time. $25 just sitting there. This charger says that it's working, but that the power has been restricted. I may plug into it just to see what I get. It did say the power would be restricted, but I'm getting a full charge out of it, so I'll take it. It's well overpriced at 56 cents per kilowatt. Still cheaper than it was in Connecticut. I'm gonna go see if I can find a place to pee, and then by the time I'm done with that, I'll be back. So the woman driving the Polestar finally came back. I let her know that she was being charged idling fees. She said that didn't matter to her. I informed her that it's a little rude to block the charger while you're eating dinner when you know the other chargers are broken. But some people are just overly entitled. The cord on this one's pretty short. Well, it's not short, but it just doesn't reach the opposite side of the car easily. But we got it going. Up on the screen, we're still doing 114. What's interesting is it's got this 60% bar on here. I don't know what that actually means, but we'll see where we're at. I don't need too much. It's probably just about all I need anyhow, but I'll give it a little extra just in case. So I charged for exactly 10 minutes. I was able to get from 23% to 44%. Back on the road now. Plenty of range to get home at this point. So it's about 11:14 p.m. About 5 minutes from home at this point. So you can see all the miles we did on this trip. 742 miles so far. Averaged 2.8 overall. Pretty good. Not too bad. It's a little unfortunate that we got some poor efficiency on that last leg and had to stop, but it was a good thing that we did. Wouldn't have fully made it, and there's not many chargers from where that location was to here, so I'm gonna get home with very low range. Gonna plug in, let it charge up overnight, but overall pretty good.